Hey, good evening. Evening, Dale. Well, we've got 3 in at least. It was showing as 1 for about 10 seconds, and then it went down to 0, and then it went up to 1 again, and then it went down to 0 again. So I think it's going to be a shorter waffle than normal. Don't know what's going wrong. Obviously, I'm not Mr. Popular anymore, so that's just you and me, Dale. In fact, I've only got 3 people in watching at the moment. Evening, Steve. How are you, mate? It's just us 3. There's obviously somebody else. Please make yourself known if you don't mind. Excuse me. Just going to drink my tea. Yeah, I thought I would do another little Friday live stream, Friday live waffle, whatever you want to call it. Because the last one went down really well. It was good fun, lots of questions. And it's just, I think, having the interaction is always good. So I've got absolutely no script at all. I've got no script at all. I've got Dell on standby over here on Messenger because the problem you've got with the StreamYard thing, it's not StreamYard actually, the problem you've got with the YouTube live chat is it obviously just keeps kind of moving down, and it's very, very easy to kind of lose what do you call it? It's very, very easy to lose kind of where you are. Evening, Treble C, or is it CCC? Just found you recently, Retro V Logger, but finally a Scottish voice. Yeah, I don't think there's not that many. From what I can gather, I don't think there's that many Scottish people that do YouTube. and it's got nothing to do with the fact that we're too tight to pay electricity. Evening, Tam. There's another Scots bloke. Evening, Steve. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I don't think there's not many Scottish YouTubers. I mean, I'm trying to think. One of my mates, Monkey Spaz, he was one of the guys that kind of inspired me to kind of start making videos. But James doesn't do videos anymore. I don't think he's done any for months. There's a few well-known. Is it a guy? I can't remember what his name is. It Limey or something? I think he's like a comedian on BBC, whatever. But as far as Scottish guys that do kind of retro-based channels, I don't think there's that many. Yes, Mark, it is. It is live. How can I show you it's live? Well, the fact that I've just responded to a question there. CCC, you'll listen to football vloggers. I know, more for the voice. Yeah, if you're maybe living in Australia or America, you're going to miss the Scottish accent. I must admit, I mean, Limmy, that's the man. Yeah, I've lived in Livingston all my life, which is it's a city in Scotland. Lived here all my life, and I mean, if I'm being honest, I think it would be nice to move somewhere else. I don't really think that. You're from Los Angeles? Seriously? Really? Yeah, is that what you moved to? Nice one. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the UK is as nice a place as it used to be. I don't know. There's a lot of things going on which I don't like. The biggest thing for me is the weather. The weather is absolutely pants. And the second thing is, and I don't know if this is just if this is a Scottish thing, if it's a UK thing, but I think that society has kind of crumbled. We really don't look out for each other anymore. People don't speak to you. I mean, I was always brought up to be polite. I was always brought up to say hello to people, and I do that even now when I'm walking along, the street, or if I'm out running, whatever, with the dogs. I'll always say hello. And the number of people that just, I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind admitting my next door neighbours. I've got two sets of neighbours. I live in a mid terrace. One set of neighbours, if I don't say hello to them, they won't say hello to me, which I think is a very strange thing. They'll actually turn their head away. Which evening, Matt, how are you, mate? Well, I know how you were about an hour ago, but anyway, yeah, it's people. Yeah, what was I talking about? I was talking about my neighbours. Yeah, they're not friendly. They don't. I can walk past them and they'll not even turn to say hello unless I can speak first. So anyway, let's gaming wise, yeah, I may as well show you it. This arrived. Now I don't know how long I'm going to keep it for, because you'll see what my problem is. Hence the reason I need to wear these to look. That's my Proclaimers look, so I can read. Yeah, this thing arrived funky, and basically it's a little console. It's a little console. Yeah, there it's there. I think it was 30 quid, and I thought, I'm going to buy that for a laugh. I mean, I've waited. I think it was funded under Kickstart, but you know what, for 30 quid. So, nice one, Matt. Good stuff. Just enjoy your weekend. Yeah, Matt down below. He and I work for the same company. Yeah, here it is. A funky. I was laughing at my description for my Friday waffle. I think I said more madcap nonsense and mayhem. That's probably the furthest from what it is. Anyway, yeah, this little funky thing. Hopefully you can see it there. It's yeah, very good deal. Yeah, I mean, it's got. How do we start it? Right, come on, did turn it off. Why is it not wanting to? How would you get it to actually come on? I've switched it on. Right, I have no idea. It doesn't seem to want to. It doesn't seem to want to. There we go. Right, hang on. Right, exit game. Yeah, I'm not going to apologise about being disorganised because this is a Friday waffle, so you take what you're given. Yeah, so basically you've got. I mean, hopefully you can see that. Let's just position my hand. I mean, it plays. Can you see that? It plays Game Boy Advance. It plays. Oh, that's blurred. Wait a minute. I'm going to see if I can put it on a different screen so you can actually see it. Theme classic. Hopefully you can see this better. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Anyway, there we go. There it's there. You've got. You know what? It doesn't matter. It's got. You can play Game Boy. You can play Wonderswan. I can hardly see that. You can play Neo Geo Pocket. You can play Lynx. You can play PC Engine, Turbo Graphics to the non-Scottish people. You can play Mega Drive, all the usual stuff, Master System, Game Gear. The only games I've loaded on so far, in fact, let's have a wee look, see if there's anything with the SNES. Right, there's a couple of games that I don't think are actually real games. So here's a Super Boss Gaiden. Hopefully you can you see that? I don't know if you can. Let's try and start it. Don't know how to turn the sound up. I don't know whether the sound's just right. I know you can't really see it properly. In fact, you can't really see it at all, can you? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's you can see the size of it. There's my thumb, so it's tiny, absolutely tiny. It was 30 quid. I've watched a few videos on it, and apparently it's actually quite a little. You can play stuff like Tekken 3 on the PlayStation, but it's mental to think how we've gone from full size systems to something like that. Crazy. Anyway, talking about gaming. Well, sorry, I'll just quickly answer Mark's question. How's the job going now? Yeah, the job's going great. I've been in it now for. Matt, when did I start? I started in April, so I've been there May, June, July, August. So I've been there almost 4 months. Been there about 4 months now, and I've got to say I really do enjoy it. Yeah, like any job, it can be pressured. Things can happen, but in the main, it's I really do enjoy it. It's a nice environment, nice people to work for. Mark being one of them, you know what I mean, and having good people working with you. Makes all the difference. I think it's so true. A job generally isn't down to the job itself. It's usually down to the people that you work with. So, no, all going well. Hopefully it'll continue to do so as well. Before I kind of move on to any questions, well, in fact, if there's any questions you want to ask me, please put them in the comments down below. Dale's what he's going to do is he's going to coordinate and pull them together. He's going to stick them into MSN so I can see them in there. But if there's anything at all, just put your comments down below. I was watching a video a couple of days ago, and it was an emulator on the. Now, you know what? For somebody that's into games, I don't even know what the latest Xbox machine is. Is it Xbox Series X? Is that the most powerful one? Is that the one that's kind of on the same kind of par with a PlayStation 5? Anyway, I saw a video, and the guy was showing there's an emulator, I can't remember what it's called, an emulator which it runs PlayStation games. Now you're probably thinking, well, that thing I just showed you runs PlayStation games. But what this does is it actually increases the resolution by, I think he'd put up to something like 10. The guy was running it on like 9 times the resolution, which I think is 4K. And I have to say, it looks bloody amazing. I mean, playing PlayStation games on 4K just looks incredible. So I thought, you know what? As much as I've got no interest in buying a PlayStation 5, why don't Duck Station? That's the one. Evening, Carlo. Yeah, I thought that's. I've got no interest in buying a PlayStation 5 at the moment. But I thought, yeah, why don't I pick up a Series X? Had a look, and yeah, I didn't realise that they're still pretty pricey. But here's the thing: you can't buy them. You can't buy them anywhere. They're sold out everywhere, unavailable everywhere. So I had a quick look for a PlayStation 5 just out of interest, and you can't buy the damn things. Now, am I right in thinking that the PlayStation 5 came out in the UK? It came out in, I think it was November last year. So we're now talking about a machine that is 10 months old, and you still can't buy them. The only way you can buy one of these machines is if you're extremely lucky, and yeah, you're saying, you know what, Carlo, you're saying it's old news, but you know, it's to be able to play games like that I know you can do it in the PC. We all know that the PC is the best thing because people tell us, because PC owners tell us. Evening, Colin, how are you, mate? Oh, made my Friday evening, these live shows. Keep it going. Thanks very much, Colin. Glad you do enjoy them. Quite funny. I was talking to my girlfriend just before I came on, and she's like, "So, do you have any like script for these things?" And I went, "No." I says, "I'm actually falling half asleep here." I says, "Yeah, there is. It's like I can imagine. It's like doing stand-up comedy. I mean, I make you laugh with my woeful gaming skills, but yeah, I said no. I just kind of switch the webcam on and go for it." What was I talking about? Anyway, yeah. So I thought I'll have a look at the PlayStation 5. Can't get them anywhere. Now, how the hell have we reached a situation where you still cannot buy a console that is 10 months old? You know, that's just that's crazy. What is it about it? Is it because, are we still going to be blaming COVID? Is it COVID's fault that we can't get parts? Or, you know, it knocks my socks off thinking about that you still can't get that. Evening, Don Hotmail can't beat retro consoles, always in stock. Yeah, absolutely, unless you want to get a Vectrex or something, and they're also harder to get. But yeah, it just seems mental to me that we've reached this position. Now, I know these machines aren't the only ones to kind of be tough to kind of get a hold of. I think the Wii was the first machine that I can remember, that it was, you had to basically kind of shop about and try and find. I went on a website that used to kind of tell you when stock came in. But you know, and I'm sure it's probably happened to other consoles. But you know, we're 10 months in 2 months' time, it's going to be a year since these machines came out. Now, a year on, I would expect to be buying a bundle, you know, a couple of games, and get it for 50 quid less. That's not going to happen. Right now, you're still going to have to spend, I don't know, £600-700 if you're daft buying one off eBay. Just mental. Just curious as to yeah. I mean, it's you're right, Erodion, or Rodian, I should say. I did have your name right for a wee while. You're right, Erodian. I mean, it is scalpers, but surely, why have we got to a stage where we just can't? There should be enough. You could hear my daughter screaming in the background. Anyway, yeah. Surely a year in, we should get to a stage where there are enough machines to go around so that you can just rock into Argos. Can I get a PlayStation 5, please? Oh, and tell you what, give me one of your Xbox X's while you're at it, mister. So, I don't know, weird. Interested, I noticed Steve, let's have a quick wee look. Steve is saying there he uses his Series X in dev mode a lot. It's an emulation beast. So is the Series X, is that readily available, or are they still really difficult to get hold of? And how much do they go for, sort of roughly? I mean, do they go second hand? And finally, is it easy to go into dev mode? I mean, because I must admit, I wouldn't mind having one to sit underneath the TV. So if you know how much they go for, let me know. And I mean, what power-wise is, I take it the Series X. What is that on a? I mean, the Xbox One, which I have downstairs, can you run emulation in that as well? Can you put that into dev mode? Secondly, does that power-wise, where does the Xbox One sit? Because I always thought that the Xbox One, see, it used to be nice and easy. You had the PlayStation, you had the PlayStation 2, Xbox, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and then they've gone and brought out a bloody PlayStation, what's it called? Not a PlayStation, they've brought out a bloody, they've brought out an Xbox, what's it called? X, and then an Xbox, oh no, wait a minute, sorry Steve, your Xbox X is that's the expensive one, isn't it? Yeah. Is there not an S series or something? So what is the S, and where is the Xbox X the same power as a PlayStation 5? And then what is the Xbox X? I'm completely, utterly befuddled. I really am. Totally confused. Listen, let me just have a wee drink of my tea. I want to have a quick look and see who we've actually got in tonight. I tell you, I don't mind admitting, I'm glad it's Friday. Right, let's scroll to the very top. We've got Dell. We have got 8-Bit Steve. Steve, you've changed your name. That's fine. That's easier to say anyway. 8-Bit Steve, formerly Ye Olde Gamer Steve. We've got Treble C. We've got Steve from Retro and Lim. Now, if anybody doesn't know Steve is actually he was the man that had a website back in 1996. And can anybody remember when, what was it called? Not Win UAE, Ultra HLE, I think it was called. Basically, it was the very, very first, it was the first N64 emulator. And I mean, the thing about that it came out just a few months after the N64 actually came out. So it was basically an emulator that was emulating current hardware. And Steve had a sort of a kind of gaming retro type website. And he actually, I don't know how it came about, Steve, perhaps you can maybe mention it, but he was basically the guy that hosted the Ultra HLE emulator, and he said the traffic went absolutely through the roof, and I can completely understand, because I mean that was an astonishing emulator. The weird thing is, I mean, I'm sure the N64 emulation has improved, but the fact that it came out such a long time ago, and it was far from perfect, but it was incredible. But even now, the Ultra or the N64 is still one of the most kind of finicky machines to emulate. Don't know why, because I'm stupid. I don't know why it is, but that tends to be the case. We've got Mr. Melville. We have got Mark Whatever. We've got Mr. Renton. We've got Kroisk. Evening, Kroisk. I left Scotland at 23, came back at 41. The political situation here is abysmal. I will leave again and not return. Yeah, as I said, I don't get any politics. I've got my own mind about politics, but just the weather and the fact that people seem to be so unfriendly now, really can't. Don't like that. Colin, we've got Mr. Jones. Guy, I'm late because of bloody Cloudflare. I'm late because of what's Cloudflare, Colin? You've got me in that one. Right, I think that's all the people that have actually spoke. But yeah, we've also got Mr. Carlo Pepe as well. We've got Colin Ferguson, and we've got Don Hotmail, and I think that's it. Yeah, there might be a few, and we've also got a roadie in as well. So smashing. Listen, again, thanks very, very much for tuning in tonight. Like I said, when the intro was going, I had one person in the stream, And then it went down to 0, and I'm like, Christ, this is going to be a first. I'm going to be doing a live stream talking to nobody. But fortunately, you guys never let me down. Right, anyway, listen, I think I've seen a couple of questions. So I think I've got, let's have a wee look. I've got about 6 questions for last week. So I've got a few to kind of keep me going. I'm not going to be, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I've promised my daughter I'm going to take her to Starbucks at 9:30, so I need to kind of bail out at that point. But anyway, how are you? How the hell are you all? Dale's asking, does it have enough memory to load level 2? What are you asking me for, Dale? How am I going to know that? I don't know how to take that triple C. Actually, by the voice, I thought you were a young thing until I looked you up, but that figures. I'm 40 and didn't have the UK ZX Specky. Go on then, Mr. CCC, how old am I? How do you think? How old do you think I am? I do dye my beard, but let me know how old you think I am. Right, anyway, let's have a wee squint. Yep. Mark was asking about my job, which I said is going really, really well. Tom Melville's asking, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck? I can't even say that. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Yeah, we'll move swiftly on. Chuckfuls. Yeah, Steve. So have you got? So the Series X, is that the most powerful one? I think it is actually, isn't it? Yeah, Delph's saying Edinburgh Festival's probably going to be weird this year. Yeah, I mean, I was in Edinburgh last week, and considering it was pretty much in the middle of what should be the Friday Waffle, pretty much this should be the absolute peak of the Edinburgh Festival. It was pretty quiet. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were people about, but nothing like what it was, which is a shame. Dale was saying there, there's still shortages of these machines, but that's 30% to blame. Colin's saying that my son spent several nights awake watching stock alert sites and got successful with the Curry's lottery to get our 3. Just absolute bloody nonsense. You know what? And you know what I kind of think about? I did put a wee thing on Twitter. You know, I think that the fact that you can't get a hold of these machines is possibly going to affect future machines. Maybe I'm talking complete bollocks, because at the end of the day, people are paying stupid money for them, and they're going to continue to do that. But I think you're going to get the sort of casual gamer that thought, you know what, it's my 40th birthday. Tell you what, darling, go and get a PlayStation 5. They've gone into Argos. Sorry, you can't get hold of one. So I think the casual gamers are going to be put off. And is this a sign of things to come? Is it because the machines are so powerful that there's so many different parts to them that it's going to always be, can you create a shortfall? I don't know. Does it bother me? Not really, because I mean, I've got no immediate rush to go and buy a current console, but we'll see what happens. Right, sorry, Carlo. I have absolutely no idea what you mean with this. If somebody can fill me in. The Callisto Protocol looks cool. Glenn Schofield directing. Is that right? Is that a film? Right, sorry, I didn't realise that. I'm not really big in my films. Dale saying one article last week stated some shops are now getting stock, but it's still early days. Yeah, you're probably right, Steve. Suppliers don't really care. Right, anyway, what's Mark saying? Is this a question? Yeah, Dale, don't want to hog questions, so feel free to ignore. What devices do I have which he uses the most, rarely used, and never? The never ones used, will he keep them? Right, what I need to do is I need to turn around and have a look in my my Vectrex. my Vectrex is one of the is one of the, what do you call it? The Vectrex is one of my favourite consoles. I think it's an absolutely blinding bit of kit, considering it's what, I don't know, it came out in 1979, something like that. It's an absolute phenomenal bit of kit. I will need to do another video. What I might actually try and do is set up my camera, and I'll do one of these. I'll do a Sunday live stream, and I'll do the Vectrex if I can get it to look all right. But yeah, the Vectrex is awesome. The reason I don't play it all that often is because, if I'm being honest, I don't want to break it. I mean, these things they're very, very fragile, because I mean, they were never designed to be 40 years old. So I don't use it. I suppose it's a bit like, I don't know. I don't know why I even said that. I don't know why I'm going to compare it. But yeah, basically, I love it to bits, but I'm frightened that I damage it by playing it too much. But other machines, Atari 800, I play that a lot. My Amiga, I play that a lot. Spectrum Next, haven't switched it on in probably, I don't know. I got it when it came out. I was one of the Kickstarters. I got it when it came out. I used it twice, and I've never used it since. You're probably thinking, what a fool you are, but it's just, lack of time. My PlayStation 4, I play occasionally. PlayStation 2, other than Gradius 5, I really, really don't use it. Don't use it at all. I should, but again, it's just it comes down to time and lack of. My Wii, yeah, not very often. GameCube, not very often. The PC Engine Duo, I do use that occasionally, not as often as I would like. The PC Engine Duo, it's basically a PC Engine, but you can also run discs as well. You've got discs for it. The Sega Saturn, I do play. Not a lot, but I do use it. The same with the Dreamcast. Commodore 64, I use that a lot. Sega Mega Drive, not quite so much. I do play it on occasions. The Amiga CD32, again, I do play it. I was playing it a couple of weeks ago, actually. SNES, I don't play it all that often. I play it probably about as much as the Mega Drive. And the PC Engine, I probably play that slightly more than the SNES. Other machines, I mean, what other machines have I got in my cupboard? I've got an Atari 800, the original one, but I don't use that because I can use that. I can use that one. I've got an Atari 2600, which I never play. The reason being is it's a pain in the bloody arse trying to get it tuned. You've got to basically plug it in your RF. What else have I got? I've got a ColecoVision, which I love to bits, and again, it's RF only. I'm sure there's probably somebody can mod it, but I'm not clever enough. But perhaps if I could plug it into a SCART, then I would use it. I've got a ZX81, which I think I've switched on once. I've got a 3DO, which again I don't play very often. No reason other than just lack of time. So anyway, let's have a quick look. Which one do I use the most? It would have to be the Commodore 64 and the Amiga, but definitely Commodore 64. What one do I rarely use? Yeah, ColecoVision, Atari 2600, even the Vectrex. And which ones, the ones that I never use, am I going to keep them? Yes. For the simple reason is I don't have any requirement to sell it. I'm not in desperate need of money. And I mentioned this a few weeks ago. I had a cracking collection of all these little LED games, which I sold. I had 30 of them. Excuse me very much. I had 30 of them, and I needed money to get my main cab, my first main cab that my mate Dave Campbell built for me, and I needed to raise 400 quid. And I thought, well, you know what? I never use these, so I sold them for 200 quid. Now they go for daft money. You would get 300, you get 200 quid for selling 3 of them. I sold 30 for 200 quid. And it's not the money aspect, but I really wish I'd hung on to them. I really, really do. And so that's the reason I'm not in any mad rush to sell these things, because I mean, I was talking to Del Boy actually about this just a couple of weeks ago actually on the phone, and we were both, Del has sent me a lot of magazines. Del's got literally millions of magazines and other bits and pieces. And I said to him, why do you keep all these? You're never ever going to read them all. And he says, well, I like to keep them because you never know. Someday, like you, for example, somebody might come along and say, tell me what, Dale, I don't suppose you've got, I don't know, Marvel comic number 10. Actually, I do. And that's kind of the reason I just like to have these things, knowing that if I want to play them, I can. I mean, the thing is, I'm Alan No Mates. I very, very rarely get anybody visiting me that actually wants to come up to the games room. I mean, I've got a double seat there. I've got all these different systems. So anybody that wants to come up to my games room, feel free, as long as I know you. But no, seriously, I mean, I do miss not having people wanting to kind of, I look upon this as kind of my museum. I've got all these games. I've got stacks of games over there. But why do I keep them? I don't want to sell them. I want to be able to hang on to them. I like the fact that if I decide, I want to play, I don't know, I want to play the ColecoVision. I mean, I remember I was desperate, absolutely desperate to get a hold of ColecoVision. And then when I did get it, I've hardly used it. But that's pretty much me. So anyway, Mark, listen, thank you very, very much. Matt is saying there, talking about the scarcity of these consoles. It's a supply-demand issue flipped on its head. It keeps desire and the want for the machine high, also keeps the development cycle longer for the next one. Also chip shortage. Yeah, quite possibly, Matt. But I don't know. I still think why we didn't have that with anything else. And if they're deliberately making these things in short supply to keep interest, then I think that's a good enough reason for people to just vote with their wallet and go and buy a PC or, go and get a Nintendo Switch, at least Nintendo. A lot of people don't like Nintendo, but you know what, at least you can go and buy their machines. Right, the S is... All right, so I'm just going to bring that up there so I can actually see it. Right, so 450 quid, same price as the PS5, but they're hard to get. You pay Microsoft a one-off fee of £14 to unlock dev mode, then you can install RetroArch. S is digital only, X is disc and on par with the PS. Right. So S and X are basically the same machine power-wise, but one has a drive, right? Got you. Yeah. Does anybody know? I never really play, and the only reason I bought my Xbox One was to play not Pro Evolution. What's it called? What's the name of that driving game? Oh, bloody hell! What the hell is it called? What's that driving game? It's the one you can basically drive in. You can drive around Edinburgh. I bought it for that reason. Does anyone know? Can you put an Xbox One into dev mode? Let me know, please. So interesting. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, Carlo Pepe's saying there, S is budget, X premium. Yeah, that's the thing, Don. I mean, I've been kind of sticking with Sony, but the fact that you can't get a PlayStation 5 is Sony to blame. I don't know. Yeah, please keep your questions going in. That would be wonderful. Carlos saying, what's the weirdest arcade game you've played? Weirdest? Oh God! I mean, there are plenty of what do you call it? Some bizarre Japanese games. I mean, I downloaded what do you call it? The Sharpex 68000 collection, and the first thing I did, because it had screenshots, the first thing I did was basically delete all the pornographic games. They had all screenshots. There's just something a bit unsettling to me about all these kind of games. So yeah, you've got all the really kind of weird shit. But games that are odd. I was actually playing a game last Sunday. I can't remember what it was called. Mr. something or another. I can't remember. But basically, you had to. It was like Pac-Man. It was like Pac-Man meets Wizard of War, but you basically it's either jobbies or pumps that you fire at your backside. So yeah, you basically kill baddies. You fire backwards. Something comes out your bottom. So yeah, that was a bit strange. And then I also played a game which is based on it's a diabolical version of Rolling Thunder. And it's called Rough Ranger. Google it, Rough Ranger. I think it's instead of playing Agent Albatross, who's a kind of cool dude with a little polo neck, you're playing the part of what looks like Mario and Luigi after they join the YMCA or the Village People. They're topless, and they're basically trying to kill what looks like the policeman out of the Village People. It's all very, very bizarre. But I think the one where you have to shoot jobbies at your bum was probably the most bizarre. I've played some bizarre games, but yeah. Oh, nice one, Steve. What is the best ever arcade font? Whoa, God, I would actually have to think about that one. Arcade font. I mean, I'm trying to do this from memory. I think Robotron has got a pretty cool font. I'm trying to, you know what? I'm not going to go and Google it. Is Defender, has that got a good arcade font? You know what? That's a great question, Steve. You've put me under pressure with that one. I honestly can't think. I'm going to go for Robotron 2084 because it has got a very kind of sort of science fiction kind of font look to it. What does the Wayne think about your old games? I'll translate for Treble C. A Wayne in Scotland as a child. What does your child think about old games? Ava, actually, she used to play a lot of the old games back in the day. She loved playing arcade cabinet. We played it all the time, actually. We used to play the original Xbox. I don't like calling it the original Xbox because it's just called Xbox. When people talk about the Xbox now, they think of the Xbox 360. People forget that there was an Xbox that came out before that. And trust me, the original Xbox is probably about the best value you can get. You can pick up one for about £5. Go and buy one. It's a fantastic little machine. So yeah, we used to sit and play. We used to play mayhem on the Xbox. Because she was like 5 years old, I used to put cheats on so she couldn't die. So we played that all the time. We loved, what's it called? No, Christ, I can't remember. I'll tell you, I'm Rodland. Yeah, we used to play Rodland a lot. We used to play this bizarre game called Ninja. Was it Ninja Princess? Sega Princess? Basically, you play the part as little princess. It's like Commando, but you play the part as princess. Used to play that a lot. Bubble Bobble. No, not really. No. What's it called? Rodland. That was our favourite. That was one we used to play. We used to be able to complete it because obviously you could. It was infinite energy. So, excuse me, this is getting a bit yucky. Hang on a wee second. Right. You cheated, Treble. I'm actually a bit older. I'm 53 now. Evening, Decoy Convoy. What is a boar? What? Here's a question. What is a boar? What is a boar? Is a boar not? It's like a pig. It's got these big tusks. It was in Lion King. That's what I know a boar is. That's the only thing I'm thinking. Colin's asking, just in case it's missed, what are the top 3 easiest games you've ever played? Well, the first one, the most obvious one, and it's also one of the worst games that I've ever played, it would have to be Street Fighter on the Commodore Amiga. If you're a regular to my channel, you've probably heard this a million times. Me and my mate Ian bought the game, bought it in Edinburgh, got the bus back from Edinburgh. I told him, you go and stick the kettle on, I'll fire up the game. Put the game on. By the time he came through, I'd completed it. I mean, it's absolutely diabolical, but one of the easiest games ever. What easy games? I'm trying to think. I don't know. You know, the thing is, because I'm kind of old school, there's not many old school games that were really easy, because this is the thing. Old school games had to be, because of the lack of memory, they had to provide value for money. And the only way they could do that, especially, 8-bit games, 48K or 64K or whatever, the only way they could prolong difficulty was by making the games hard. So there's not really many easy 8-bit games, I would say. I think, looking back now, I think Bruce Lee's probably quite an easy game to play. There's maybe a couple of tricky screens, but overall it's fairly easy. So yeah, Street Fighter on the Amiga, the original Street Fighter. Bruce Lee, probably on the Commodore 64. Can't think of any other ones offhand. I mean, modern games, I think, are much easier. They don't require any skill. I know some people may disagree with that, but the fact that you can just die, restart. There's no challenge in it. You don't go right back to the beginning. Back in the good old days, you loaded a game, you died, you went right back to the beginning again. You don't get that in modern games. So I think new games are much, much easier. But yeah, I can't think of any piss easy games. Like I say, Street Fighter, completed that in my first go. And what was the other one I mentioned? Can't even remember what it was. Can't remember. I've forgotten. Anyway, yeah, I told you what it is. I can't remember. Bruce Lee, that's what it was. So thanks, Colin. Here's an interesting one from Matt. Thoughts? He watched my C64 demo upload and what demo coders did. I think the cycle of how quick they come out, programmers will never use the full potential of any machine now. Your thoughts? I think you're right, Mark. The thing is, back in the day, and especially with games like, systems like the ZX81 and, Atari 2600s, some of the games that came out in these is phenomenal. But even, the old 8-bits with a, 16K memory, 48K, 64K, whatever it is, by the time you take out the basic, the memory it takes up for basic, there's very, very little memory actually left over. And to see what these people have they've pushed it, they've just kept pushing. And just when you thought you'd seen the best game ever, somebody would come along and buck the trend. I mean, as much as it's probably not my favourite game, there was a game that came out a couple of years ago called Sam's Journey. If you don't know what it is, just Google it or go into YouTube after my stream, obviously. And it's a platform game, and it would not look out of date or out of place on a SNES, Sega Mega Drive, an Amiga. Absolutely incredible what they've done with that machine. So yeah, Matt's absolutely right. Coders back then, they really, really pushed it, and I think that's what made it so interesting. And that's why even some people say to me, why would you want to play a modern version of Ghosts and Goblins on the C64 when you can load up MAME? And I would kind of think, well, I understand where he's coming from, but the thing about something like that for me is it's incredible when you see what somebody's done. You load up the new Ghosts and Goblins. Well, I'm saying new, it came out a few years ago. They added all the levels, increased the graphics. It's the same with Commando. Absolutely amazing, phenomenal. Soul Force that came out. It's a cracking shoot 'em up. It came out about 6 months ago. Amazing, to see what these guys are doing now. And I think, and just exactly what Matt's saying there, I really don't think we're going to see developers really pushing modern machines now because they don't have to, because they'll just wait for the next machine to come out. It wouldn't surprise me, and it honestly wouldn't surprise me, and I know I might be ultra suspicious. It would not surprise me in the slightest if these companies were in cahoots with developers saying, look, we don't want you to bring this game out. Don't bring this game out because it's going to stop people wanting the PlayStation 6. Because I mean, some of the games that came out, the Last of Us that came out in the PlayStation 3, amazing game, probably my favourite kind of current generation game. Completed it several times, got it in the PlayStation 4, and I'll be honest, I don't think there's that much difference. I really don't think there's that much difference between the two. And that's not because the PlayStation 4 one isn't good, it's because the PlayStation 1 is just incredible. It really is. So yeah, nice, good question there, Matt. Yeah, Mark's saying there, he heard that Sean Locke passed away. Great comedian. Yeah, I wasn't really that familiar with him. I knew who he was. I knew he'd been on like TV programs. But you know what? Anybody that dies of cancer at 56 years old, that is way too young. Really sad. It really is. Yeah, Mark's saying there about he would love a Vectrex. Amazing if you do a live stream. Yeah, I will. I absolutely will, Mark. The difficulty I've had in the past, and it's probably down to my pish technical ability, is getting a Vectrex to actually look all right. It flickers, whatever. But I mean, I've got a number. I mean, I've got my phone there, which I've been using. I mean, the phone's fantastic. Got to say, yep, this phone here, I've had it now for about 2 months. 260 quid, brand new. Best phone I've ever had. Absolutely phenomenal. And there's loads of updates as well. I know, I think Colin Jones was saying that he would buy one, but he was worried that there wouldn't be any updates. There's been updates constantly. Absolute cracking phone. So I've been using that for doing some videos. I've got a laptop. I've got my webcam. I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can come up with something so we can actually do that. That would be pretty good. Yeah, you're very welcome, Matt. You're very welcome anytime. Forza, that's the one, Dale. Yes, Forza. That was Forza. I don't know, Forza Horizon, I think it was, something like that. Yeah, that was the one I bought. What do you call it, the Xbox One, just to play it. Evening, Stephen. Mr. Ornig, what is the best retro arcade machine to visit? Well, I think you mean arcade, Stephen. As we all know, arcades are dead. I don't think we'll ever see the return of an arcade. No, I mean, saying that, I was playing 10-pin bowling with one of my mates at the weekend. See if I can find it. And yeah, they had an arcade. Have I got a picture of it? Oh, I think I must have deleted it. No, bollocks, not to worry. Anyway, yeah, arcades, they're dead. Unless you're talking about giant screen light gun games. I was going to say dance machines. I don't think they're even a thing anymore. You're never going to see the return of arcade machines, But the best way to experience arcades now is to go down to go down to Arcade Club. Andy Day, I think there's 2 or 3 arcade clubs. Phenomenal, Try and imagine the best arcade that you've ever been to, apart from Fun Spot in is it Illinois? I think it is in the United States. That is meant to be incredible, and I would love to go across there. I've said to Tony Temple and John Studley, next time they guys are going, give me a shout because I want to go. Definitely want to go. I'd love to go to Fun Spot. That's on my bucket list. Anyway, yeah, back to arcades in the UK. Just imagine the best arcade you've ever seen in Blackpool, then multiply it by 2, and you're kind of where Arcade Club is. It's phenomenal. And the wonderful thing is, it's about, I think the last time I was down, it was 16 quid. It's 16, 20 quid. I don't know if Charlie Farr's in tonight, because Charlie, he's actually, he lives not far from it. He's there all the time. But yeah, 20 quid for a full day. All the machines are on free play. It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. There are a few other ones. I mean, you've got your things to a kind of lesser degree. You've got your Play Blackpool, your Play Manchesters, your Nergs, your Rewinds, all these kind of shows. The thing though that I find though, I think it's the same collections of games that go to a lot of these. And so you generally find, I should say, like, I mean, I've been to Play Blackpool quite a few times. I've been the one in Glasgow. I wonder if that's the one. Does anybody know is Play Glasgow in this year at all? It's the same machines. I think it is exactly the same machines. So there's a lot of machines you'll never get to see. But trust me, Stephen, if you're, I don't know where you are down in England. I'm assuming you're down in England. Do a quick Google an Arcade Club and get your backside across. It is amazing. It really, really is. Evening, Holly. The Hallmeister is in the channel. Yeah, we've not mentioned the game yet. Let's have a look. Yeah, we're just doing a live stream, Holly. Yeah, me just talking bollocks for a change. Stephen, well, I'm trying to find a place that has arcade machines in action. Yeah, like I say, Stephen, you don't waste your time going to Blackpool or any of these seaside resorts. If you want to go to a place, Google Arcade Club. Trust me, there's one in Bury, I think it is. Is there one in Manchester? I'm not sure. I think there's one in Manchester. And I think there's also one opening up in Blackpool as well. But it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. You will not be disappointed. Yep, get a large glass of wine in you, Holly. What have I got? I've got some cold tea and some delicious Morrison's orange juice with bits. Does anybody notice that a lot of stuff, even in supermarkets now, I was trying to get some ham and they were completely sold out. Is that down to COVID? Now, hopefully, I've not seen any comments. Hopefully, you've noticed I've lost my double chin a wee bit. How is that? You're asking me, Meister. Good question. I've started running again. Now, I've mentioned probably a few times. I've tried to get. I mean, I was running 40 miles a week for about 10 years, and then about 2 years ago, before kind of COVID hit, I was struggling. I was getting out of breath running up hills. I'd get out of breath after 500 yards. I went to doctor, got tested for any heart defects. That came back fine. I got tested for asthma. Tried various inhalers. Didn't make any difference. I've tried cutting out gluten out my diet. I've tried cutting out lactose. What do you call it? Out my diet, and it made no difference. And then about 2 months ago, my girlfriend said, "Look, why don't you try not drinking cow's milk?" So I did that, and what a difference! I can honestly say, what a massive difference. I mean, I wasn't one to sit and drink glasses of milk. Yeah, I've not had a glass of milk for years and years and years. But I do like a latte, whatever it is, and I've got a wee membership for what do you call it? What's the name of that garden centre? Dobbies. I don't know if Dobbies is a Scottish thing. It's a garden centre, but it's actually better. Most people go to Dobbies Garden Centre because I've got a cracking, got a really good cafe or cafeteria. I think. What is the difference between a cafe and a cafeteria? Yeah. So I cut out cow's milk about 3 months ago, and what a difference. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to give what do you call it? give myself at least a couple of months with no milk, and then it got to a point I was actually starting to panic. Not panic. I was getting nervous about going and running and thinking, what happens if I go out and I can't run? Then all this has been in vain. However, I went out. I was out on Sunday, and we managed. It was a 5 mile run, but it's 2.5 miles uphill all the way. So we kind of walked. We walked up the hill, but we ran 2.5 miles downhill plus some flat as well, and I felt really good. And then last night I went out with my mate and I did 4 miles, and the first mile and a half is all uphill. So absolutely delighted. I know it's still early yet. I'm really hoping that I've nailed the problem, because I want to try and hopefully get back to some proper running, getting big miles. I want to do another West Highland Way race. There's also a race which me and my mate were talking about doing a couple of years ago until it all kind of went pear-shaped with COVID. It's called Coast to Coast, and it's over 2 days. I think I can't remember the exact order. You kayak. It's in a team of 2. You kayak, you paddle. Is that the right word? You paddle for 2 miles. Then you run for 10 miles, I think it is. Then you cycle for like 25 miles. You then camp. Then the following day you do the same again. It's like 2 miles in the boat, and I think you do a half marathon running, and then I think it's like 30 miles off road. So I know I'm getting older, but I still think I've got something to give. I would love to do another I want to go out in a high. I want to do another couple of kind of stupid races. So yeah, the great thing is I've been kind of eating a bit healthier as well. And fortunately, whilst I do put on a bit of weight, I can also lose it quick, which is really, really good. Anyway, so I'm getting way, way behind. I know Dell's been sending me comments. Let's have a wee look. In fact, you know what? I'm going to... I should really just... Oh, Stephen, you're asking there. You're asking the same question there, mate. Yeah, like I says, Arcade Club. Go and just Google it just now. Arcade Club. There's one in Bury. There's one in Manchester. There's hundreds of them. Absolutely worthwhile. Go and check it out. Right, I'm going to jump to see what Dale's saying. Right, Dale is asking. This is Mark Whatever again. How many caps has he, or is it only for YouTube? You talking about my baseball caps? I've got 3. I've got this, which is hang on. That's my running cap, my Nike one. I've got my main Meister one, which is I can't even remember what it's called. I'll go and get it. Yeah, I've got that one. God, I'm just looking at how shiny my head is. Got that one. That's actually my favourite. It was actually bought. I think it was one of my daughter's friends' dads gave me it. It was actually bought to look old, but I love this one. Yeah, that's my kind of main Meister one. Depends what mood I'm in. It's either that way or it's that way. I think I'll just keep it off the now. Actually, it's quite warm, and I've also got that one as well. I actually wear them. I mean, I never wore baseball caps until I started running, maybe about 2-3 years ago. I do like them. I think because, well, not that you get the sun very often, but when it is warm, trust me, you want to protect that, because it does get pretty warm or sunburn. So yeah, I do. I did have a 4th one, but I had a wee jaggy bit. I used to kind of jag my head all the time. Right, I'm just looking down here. Question: what's a bore? 3 earliest games, easiest games. Right, if you had a fire, this is Del Boys asking, if you had a fire and all your family got out safe, other than your Vectrex, what would you save if you could of all your retro machines? That's a good question. If I could grab what I could. it would be the Vectrex. I'll tell you what, let's do it in reverse order. It wouldn't be the GameCube, it wouldn't be the Wii, it wouldn't be the PlayStation 2, it wouldn't be the PS4, it wouldn't be the PC Engine Duo, it wouldn't be the Saturn, it wouldn't be the Dreamcast. I think it would be the Amiga, the Commodore Amiga, definitely the C64, and definitely the Vectrex. Yeah, that's what I would grab. But I would come back in and, I don't know, grab some more stuff. Holly's asking, what was your first joystick? How long did it last? What game killed it? Well, I've mentioned this before, Holly. Were you not paying attention? Now this is the actual one, unfortunately. Yeah, this bad boy. Yeah. Whilst everybody was buying QuickShot 2 joysticks, I got this. Now, the reason I got this is because the first computer shop that opened in Livingston, and again, I've mentioned this a billion times. I've told you a million times not to exaggerate. Yeah, the first computer shop that opened in Livingston, this opened before you know, John Menzies and Boots and W.H. Smiths, is it Smiths? I think it is. That was before, you know, they sold computer games. So this little computer shop, it was a guy, an Italian guy. He used to sell Ataris. He never sold Commodore 64s. No, he never did. He used to sell Commodore 64 software, but he was an Atari dealer first and foremost. Yeah, and a lot of the stuff he got from America. And this was one of the joysticks he had. It's called the Wicco Boss. You can probably kind of see that, Wicco. It's an American company. Now, I think it is starting to take any faulty bits, but it's, I don't know if you can see the movement. There's a lot of play in that. So it kind of feels more like an analog stick. But you know what? It's just ace. It's brilliant. It's got a nice thick base you can get a grip off, steady. And yeah, you can waggle away to your heart's content with that one. But that is not my original one. I bought that on eBay. I think I paid about 30 quid for that on eBay. Right, I'm just looking down here again. Colin's asking, Colin Ferguson, are you into classic Laserdisc games? I've completed Space Ace back in the day and got loads of cheers from people watching. Those days in arcades are gone. Yeah, you know what, Colin, you're absolutely right. That's one of the things that I miss most of all about, I suppose it's the fact that I'm being old. I'm older. I was going to say being older. I am older. Playing games, part of the fun. And I suppose to a certain degree, I can sort of revisit that, because when I'm doing a live stream, I'm playing a game and people are watching, but it doesn't beat sitting at a Commodore 64 and actually having your mate sitting beside you. When I was doing it at Panthers a couple of weeks ago, it was great. We were playing the C64, taking it in turns. So that was good. We're also playing his main cab. So it was excellent. It was really, really good being able to kind of have that banter, you know, that, yeah, you do get on this, but it doesn't beat having it sort of like in real life, for kind of want a better phrase. To answer your question about the Laserdisc games, no, not really. I mean, I don't think that's not entirely true. I think I saw a Dragon's Lair in an arcade once, because where I came from, I never got to visit arcades. I was nowhere near arcades. So yeah, I saw a Dragon's Lair once. I can obviously play them using, is it Daphne, I think it is, but I don't have any nostalgia for them. I mean, I love like watching Dragon's Lair. It's beautiful. The animation is astounding. But I can't say I'm a fan of them. I mean, to call them a game is kind of stretching it a wee bit, I think. I don't know. Let's have a look. Matt's asking, has anyone seen the Commodore mobile phone on YouTube? Actually, Matt, you know what? I did. I was watching, I think it's Nostalgia Nerd. he bought a Commodore mobile. If he actually did I've actually been getting right into his channel. I mean, I can't even remember what his name is. Nostalgia Nerd. He does have a really good channel. You know the scary thing is, he started his YouTube channel about 2 years after me. I'm on 3,500 subscribers. He's on, I don't know. Is he not on almost 500,000? I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, a bit mental, but no, he does. He has. I mean, he's I would hate to think the amount of time that guy puts into making videos, but the thing is, he's getting paid for it. It's his full-time job. I do this as a hobby, so that's the difference. But yeah, he did a thing all about Commodore and who owns the rights to Commodore. I think when they went bust was a company called Tulip took them over for a while, and then it's kind of gone back and forwards, and then some company brought out a mobile phone. Now apparently the phone was selling for, I think it was like 300 quid, and it was the most basic mobile phone. All they'd done is they'd stuck a Commodore logo wallpaper on it, and that was about it. There was really nothing. I think the phone itself was shite, and of course there was a lot of problems with people paying the money and never actually getting it. So yeah, I dare say people, there's probably some, I'm going to say idiots, there's probably some idiots out there that would probably pay a lot of money for a cheapo mobile phone that's got a Commodore logo in it. Phil Smith, evening Phil. Phil's asking, have you played any T1994A games since your awful childhood experience? There are some decent cartridge games out there with speech synthesizer. It was a great little machine. Actually, Phil, yeah, you know what? I've not played a lot. I haven't played a lot, but what do you call it? I played when I was doing was it an Arcade Perfect My Arse? I think it was Donkey Kong, and I have to say the Donkey Kong in the bloody Texas was phenomenal. It was really good, and I think there's a lot of decent games. I think the computer itself was actually quite a decent little system, but unfortunately, it came out at the point sort of early 80s when there was instead of games coming out every day, there was a new computer coming out every day, and so yeah, it never really took off. But again, as we all know, systems are only as good as their software. So yeah, but I have to say, Phil, yeah, you're absolutely right. There are some decent games. Stephen is asking, have you played Golfing Greats? Super arcade game. I haven't, Stephen. Is that the one where you've got a trackball? I'm sure I've watched a couple of videos of people playing it. I'm not a massive fan of golf games. I think if I was going to play, I've got I've got 3 golf games that I would play now. First one would be Golf on the Game Boy. That was a phenomenal game. You could actually link up 2 Game Boys. Me and my brother-in-law used to play. It was a fantastic game. So the original Golf on the Game Boy. Arcade-wise, it would have to be Neo Turf Masters on the Neo Geo. It's a great game. It's super arcadey, but it's a brilliant game. Really good. Go and check it out if you've not seen it. And the other game that I played, me and my 2 mates, we played it. They used to come up to my house once a week. It was usually a Wednesday, I think it was, and we played Tiger Woods. But it wasn't called Tiger Woods. It was PGA, but it was called Tiger Woods Golf 2005, I think it was, and it was on the PlayStation. No, the Xbox. Not the Xbox 360, the one that came out before that. And it was a phenomenal game. You used obviously the trigger, you pull back, you push forwards to kind of to swing your club. But it was a fantastic game. And you could, I mean, it's common now, but you could add your own facial, you could build up your character. And me and my two mates, it was incredible just how kind of realistic they looked, but they were brilliant. They were the 3 games that I would play. Never played that golfing greats one, Stephen. And the last one, question I can see here, unless Dell's going to sleep, from Sterner Stuff. Good evening, Sterner. What type of running shoes do you prefer? It's, you know what, it's not a question. Well, this is personally, it's not so much what I prefer, it's what ones I can actually wear. Because as you know, everybody's got a different heel strike. Well, when I'm running, I strike with my heel, which is like the worst way possible. You watch Kipchoge or I don't know, Mo Farah running. They land, when they're running, they land on the flat of their foot. Their foot comes down and they land on the flat. I land on my heel, which is bad. So anyway, yeah, and the way to kind of check what kind of shoe you should need, you've got people who are flat-footed. Means it's called the brown paper test. I'm not kidding. Get a piece of brown paper, take your socks off, weigh your foot, and then stand on the paper. And depending on what mark is left, that will determine how much of a kind of arch you've got. And I've got quite a large arch, whereas some people are almost flat-footed. So you've really got to get, if you're ever thinking about taking up running, especially long distance running, and especially if you're running on the road, you want to make sure you've got proper protection. The best thing to do is go along to one of your specialist running shops. Now, you will pay a bit more for the shoe. You know, you might pay 20, 30 quid more than you can get it online. But what they'll do is they'll actually watch you running. They'll watch your running gait, and they'll tell you what type of shoe to wear. So the ones that I tend to wear, and I've completely forgotten, begins with B. I've tried Nike. I've tried all these ones, and I mean, a couple of times I've bought running shoes because I think they look smart, and I've ended up with I've ended up with loads of problems. Oh, blimey, I can't even, not beach. What's it called? It begins with B. Anyway, I can't remember. But that's the kind that I usually. Let me have a quick look. Running shoes. Running shoes. Let's see if it comes up. Brooks, that's it. Brooks, yeah. Brooks running shoes. That's the ones that I've been wearing. But I've tried, like, is it Salomon? I've tried Hoka. Hoka do make some nice shoes, but they're extremely expensive. The shoes I'm running at the moment, I got them on sportshoes.com, and they were like 40 quid. And I have to say, they're good. They're really, really good. So that is the last question I can see from Dale. I'll just kind of flick through how we're doing for time. Right, listen, I'm going to have to bail out in 10 minutes because I told my daughter I was going to be taking her to, taking her to Starbucks. Stephen's saying that I know a place in Harrogate, but not sure. But most importantly, is anyone repairing these machines? Absolutely, Stephen. There's a massive, massive community of people repairing machines. Loads and loads and loads. And that's why things like Play Glasgow and Play Blackpool and Arcade Club can exist, because all these machines are ancient. They're really, really, they're really old. And yeah, there's people who are still repairing them, getting parts. I mean, my mate Tony Temple, he'll restore them from like crap, and by the time he's finished, they'll look like brand new. Just absolutely amazing. I've not seen any other. Yeah, Matt's saying there those 4K and 8K demos on the Spectrum are phenomenal. Yeah, I've seen a few. I've seen a few of these. What do you call it? A few of these little demos where they have to they try and write in a really short amount of memory, and it's phenomenal what they're doing. Evening, ZX, how are you, mate? Oh, bloody hell, wait a minute. Christ, I've still got bloody tons of comments. I don't know. Dale, are you still there? I have no idea. Ah, right, there we go. Dale's just posted it. Sterner Stuff's asking another one. What Commodore 64 games do you think are better on the Spectrum? I've recently been enjoying the tactical masterpiece Laser Squad. Ah, right. Which I reckon would be even better than a Spectrum. Just as well, Panther's not in tonight because he would flame me for this. Games that came out in the C64 that I would always play the Spectrum: Manic Miner, Jetpack, Ant Attack, Jet Set Willy. I wouldn't play Jet Set Willy. What else? I think, I don't know, possibly even Cybernoid. I'm not saying that the Spectrum versions are better, but I always just think that certain computers you think of certain types of games with. Pajama Rama, Automania, basically any of the Microgen games as well. Always think of them as Spectrum games first and foremost. So if I was going to play them, I would play them on the Spectrum. But then conversely, there's tons of games that are on the C64 and the Spectrum, which I'd always play the C64 one. Bruce Lee, Whizball, Beachhead 2, Impossible Mission. Not that we'd play Impossible Mission. Yeah, games like that. But yeah, there's tons of games. I mean, that's why I was saying I don't play my Spectrum next. But I do use it for playing normal games. If I'm going to play the Spectrum games, I'll use my Spectrum, whatever it's called, a little. You've probably seen it before. I think it's actually out of battery, so I can't let you see it working. Yeah, this little masterpiece. This is a little ZX. You knew he was actually the guy that showed me this, and it's a laptop Spectrum. Ta-da! How cool is that? That is awesome. Proper ZX Spectrum. So yeah, I sometimes use that. I mean, this is a kind of homemade thing. It's got big bits of metal in the bottom, but it's awesome. Right. Any other questions, Del Boy? As that's come to the end, I'm going to have to bail out in a few minutes anyway. Stephen Elliott, arcade's dead. Sad, but so glad I was around when they were full on popular. Yeah, I was glad. I feel really, really chuffed that I lived through that. Bury in Leeds. Ah, right, I'm saying Manchester. Well, there you go, Stephen. Bury in Leeds. If you're near any of these, then get your arse, I should say. Yeah, Stephen's saying there he's completed Cauldron. Yeah, you have told us that. Stephen, would you be up for coming on my channel to actually try and play it, or have you only done it the once? Because I would always say that I think it's impossible to beat Cauldron, but if you've completed it, then absolutely fair play to you. I think I cannot be beaten on Robotron. I couldn't beat myself. Well, I know a few guys. One of my mates, Phil Spriggs. He's what do you call it? Paul Spriggs. Phil, bloody hell, dearie me. Yeah, Paul is. He's. I don't know if he's held the world. He's certainly probably one of the top 10 Robotron players, and he's also pretty nifty at Defender as well. I'm just having a wee look. You look good. Good at chin strap. I thought it was just the lighting in the room. So you're trying to say I've not lost weight, Dale? I think I have. I think I've lost my dull chin a wee bit. Oh, hang on there. God, I am miles behind. Matt, I was asking, what's a cafe and a cafeteria? A cafe is a word that refers to a place that offers hot beverages. Cafeteria is a place where there is little to no staff and has mostly service counters. There you go. Thank you very much, Matt. Who says you don't learn? Every day's not a school day. Holly's saying there, go for one of these Ironman challenges. You know what, Holly? I would love to give that a go if I was fit enough. I could do the cycling, I could do the running, but I couldn't do the swimming. I'm not a strong swimmer. I think I would struggle. I would struggle if I was in open water, apart from being terrified of bloody getting eaten with sharks. And that's I'm being serious. Ever since I saw Jaws, I've been terrified to go into the open water. I'm not a strong swimmer at all, so if I was going to do like a triathlon, it would have to be that I was swimming in a swim. I'd love to be able to do a triathlon. So Matt's saying there's an 85-year-old male that's done the Ironman. That would not believe me. Trust me, I know. I've got a few friends. There's one guy, Peter, who's I think he's 70, and he's done the West Highland Way race more times than I care to remember. 70 years old, running 100 miles. Just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Right, listen, guys, I'm going to bail. I'm going to bail out now. Just very, very quickly, I want to. Oh yes, sorry, Stephen's saying there, Chucky Egg. Yeah, I think if I was going to play Chucky Egg, it would be in the Spectrum. Some people say the BBC, but I think the Spectrum one would be the one I'd go for. Just a quick. I've not got much news. The game, way of the X-loading pish. We've been promised, and hopefully it's going to come off, that if we're hopefully going to get a bit of what do you call it, publicity in the new Zap annual, not Zap annual, the new Zap, these little mini Zaps. I've been told that if we can get some screenshots, we're hopefully going to get a little feature in that, which would be awesome because that would really generate interest. Holly is still bashing away at the keyboard, she's trying to get a little playable demo out to myself and a couple of the lads to beat a test. And if we can get one out in time, we may actually give that to Zap as well. So yeah, but Holly's, like I say, Holly's banging away in the keyboard, she's working very, very hard. We've got lots of really, really good, cool people that's going to be helping us out. So it's going to be awesome. I really do think it's going to be awesome, and I for one can't wait to get my hands on a copy. So anyway, listen, guys, I'm going to bail. Yeah, I'm going to bail. Evening, Paul. How are you, mate? I'm going to bail out now. Yeah, listen, I will be along on Sunday. I'm going to get back to Matt, you know what? No, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to attempt. I'll give it a go. I'm going to attempt to, what do you call it? I'm going to attempt to do a live stream using the Vectrex. But what I'll need to try and do is I'll need to try and see if I can get a decent picture. So that's it. That's the plan. If I can't get a decent picture, then I'll go back to Crash issue 1, I think it is. I did start that about 3-4 weeks ago. So I'll be along 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock on Sunday. Hopefully a live Vectrex stream. Now, you know what? I could quite easily cheat and use an emulator, but I'm not going to do that because you're missing the point. Emulators do not touch that. They don't come within a fraction of, they don't come within a million miles of what a real Vectrex actually looks like. So I hope to catch you guys on Sunday. So listen, thank you very, very much to everybody that's watched tonight. Have a really, really nice weekend, and I'll see you on Sunday. Till next time, guys, take it easy and thanks for watching.